Welcome. Oh, you're looking for the live chat for generational curses? Well, you found the right place. Come on in. Let me just adjust a few things here because it looks like we're buffering. We're Jimmy buffeting. What is up? You. Hi. Welcome to the channel. Brian the Divine Healer here with you. Just about to drop some gems on your ass. Yeah. What's going on? Enjoying the week so far? Hopefully so. All right. So this is a deep dive. Like we're diving deep. Like little swimmies, get them. Snorkels, get them. We're going deep. All right. So make yourself comfortable. Sit down, relax. We are going to get it. All right. So here's the deal. What is a generational curse? Anybody? Bueller? Well, basically a generational curse is something that has been passed down to you from generation to generation. Now we're talking on a spiritual level here, okay? We're not talking about DNA and all that other bone marrow shit, right? So, what do I mean by that? Passed down. Okay, so there are characteristic traits, tendencies, events, situations, whatever, that our parents went through, right? And so if that kind of is not healed in a sense, it gets passed down. So we can talk about a little bit of it being like DNA, but it's on the spiritual level, right? Right. Okay, so I'll give you a few more examples of how this really works. Okay, my mother smoked. She was an RN, right? She knew better, right? But she still did it. And I was always like, growing up, being like, oh, Mom, that's so gross and so disgusting as I was younger. I mean, she would have the ashtray full, overheaping, right? On the kitchen table, right in the middle of our food. Disgusting, right? And I always thought it was gross and told her that. I guess that's why I was like the rebel child, because I always spoke up, right? What's going on in the comments? Hello. What's going on, Rise and Shine? Hello from the UK. Good day, mate. Just kidding. I love accents. I'll do any kind of accent. UK is a little tricky, but it's right there, bloke. So yeah, she smoked, and then all of a sudden it turned out like years later that I ended up smoking, and it was like, what? I thought I was against it. I thought I hated it. Why am I doing it? I don't know. It just happened, right? Right. So that's when we could say that's a generational curse, right? And what I think that really is, to be like breaking it down on a psychological level, like I think we learn from demonstration from our parents, right? We're all hands on, right? Because we don't know how to do nothing until we're shown how to do something, right? Right. What's going on, my friend? North George in the house. Love it. I got some of the old crew coming back. Good. All right. So where was I? Yeah, I lost that train of thought. More examples. All right. So if like say, you're against something and you don't know why you're stuck on it, it's because you probably got so far deep into it that you don't understand it. So like on that psychological level, okay, we learn from the demonstration. I collected my thought. I regained it. We learn by demonstration, hands-on, we see, we do. Monkey see, monkey do. That's where that phrase came from. Monkey see, monkey do. Poo-poo all over you. Now go clean yourself up. Check this out. Subconsciously, on a psychological level, not only with the frontal lobe that we have, we learn from seeing, but somehow other instances, nuances, different things that aren't so routine every day, I guess. Well, I don't want to say every day, but routine enough to be like conscious, gets siphoned into your subconscious. So some of the things that you see that your parents do, that there's no kind of like confrontation, speaking about it, mention of it, any kind of attention to this. This is now what I believe gets tucked into your subby. That's right. It gets tucked into your subconscious. Right, right. 1/11/2006 is my. Oh, nice. Thank you. Appreciate that. Clean dates. Fit some. That's good. Good knowledge, my friend. Good for you. That's great. I love to hear that. Recovery is fantastic. It is a difficult thing. Honestly, like I was talking about the subconscious stuff, I think that is part of, the generational curses, right? We pick up on these sublims from our parents and they get carried over. So then when we have a trauma because we didn't have parents that correctly taught us how to deal with our emotions, well, then it gets stored up with your little sub bank of addictions. True story. And so now they're hand in hand, and you get tied with your addictions to your emotions instead of looking at the emotions to relieve yourself of that addictions, which was in your family. I mean, we all have generational things, addictions, problems, issues, whatever. And I only wanted to like do this video because I was gonna do the tarot, right? I was gonna do the tarot for you, but oh, my dog's so close. Ooh, that was almost on her ear. She said so damn close. She's my little bodyguard. Anyways. I had an epiphany. Okay, and I've been thinking about it, thinking about it. And then it made sense. So this epiphany that I had, there's a couple people that showed me one of my generational curses by, I swear to God, as the blood pumps in my veins, this is the truth. These people showed me exactly, played it out to a T of what that generational curse was. Okay? And in that moment of eureka, epiphany, holy crap, what did I just hear? What did I see? What is this feeling of this knowledge of burdens being now lifted off my shoulders, because now I could physically see the generational curse playing out before me by these two people? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And so that set me on a different tone. Okay, because we all try to understand why we do things, right? Why do things happen in our lives and why? That's great. But your focus is too much on the why and not the how come. So if we looked at the how comes, then obviously we'd be able to analyze it and then figure it out and be able to move on, healing that trauma. But the devil don't want that. He wants you clouded and mixed up and stuck, like Chuck, like the rest of your family, right? Because every family, I really believe, has a certain scapegoat, billy goat, black sheep, whatever you want to call it, person in the family to take on this challenge. The generational curse breaker challenge. That's right. And that takes a very special person. When we speak of black sheep, those are the people that are like the rebels that they can't just sit there and not say something when something's foul, right? Those, we can just say it like that, right? So they get outcast. That's why they're the black sheep, because every other sheep's white. Oh, this is so racist, I know, right? But in order for that person to be that curse breaker, they have to endure whatever curse it is. Like, I don't care who you are, Einstein. You're not going to go to class and take a test and just not even see the questions and whip out the answers and think you're going to be right. I can't with that. You have to have the quizzes and the tests and all the practice before you take your main test to, whatever. So you have to go through these experiences. Some people cave in and they get stuck in that curse. Addictions, emotional problems. I mean, you name it. It's a ton. And so they never see their way out, thus continuing the generational curse. But like I was saying, there's one person in every family that has the ability to crush it. To crush it. That's right. CRUSHIT. Oh, cruise shit. That's right, baby. Crush it. Okay. And so when you live these experiences unbeknownst to you and why, at the root of why you're doing these things, there's a moment that happens. Sometimes people don't see the moment. Some people times, it takes moments and moments and more moments and more moments and more moments of going through that to get it through your thick skull and mine. Then you're going to see what is the root. And I'm telling you, that is my epiphany that I had most recently to see live 2024. Some shit that happened way back in the 70s, bro. And that gave me the epiphany to now see beyond the veil even more, to now look for the other generational curses that were placed upon my life by my kin. So that means I have to sit down with myself and see what I do, how I do it, why I do it. Because I want to now weed out what now I know of a special deliverance of now it being slapped in the face. Slapped in my face to see this goings on. I always had a feeling that, I didn't know why, for surely, what was the reasoning of this, because this isn't my style, it isn't my thing, it isn't my gig, right? Because I'm not about it. But I was about it. So why am I about it? I don't know. Because the devil wanted to make it cloudy. Wanted to keep you in the smoke, wanted to keep you hidden, wanted to just suck your brain dry so then you have no idea how to fix it. But in that smoke, it just all cleared in that moment. Poof. Bam. Now I see like the Wheel of Fortune. That last letter that popped up, and now you can read the phrase. Damn it, I read that phrase. But it was through the works and the actions of other people's stupidity that I got to see this phrase of Wheel of Fortune, the answer. And that was amazing. Because we all have these questions of why we do what we do. Blame it on this, blame it on that, whatever. But this generational curse is serious. Spirituality is serious. God is a living spirit. He breathed the life, the breath of life into you. Is that not a living spirit? I think so. So sometimes our spirit gets a little bit in the shadows, in the dark, right? Because we're trapped in the pain of our generational curses. And sometimes that shit's been put on there on purpose, okay? So now let me bring it to the forefront of the reality. Not only did I just share the experience of the epiphany that I had to see the root of some of my generational curses, but now I want to tell you what some of them were, okay? So before I was born, my mother wanted a girl. A little baby girl, because she had boys. She wanted to play dress up and dollies and all that stuff, right? So, I think, I'm not sure, like, hit up in the comments, like, if you're carrying high, then it's a boy. No, if you're carrying low, it's a boy. If you're carrying high, it's a girl. Something like that. Anyways, I was the opposite. So the doctor thought I was going to be a girl. So that's what the dude was like, hey, you got a girl, yay. So my mom runs out, buys everything pink, hooks up the nursery, everything pink, even picks out my name, Gretchen. Yeah, throw it in the comments, I don't care. My name was Gretchen. So then the ninth month comes and I'm not born yet. I was actually born on the 10th month. So yes, I incubated for 10 months. I guess while my mom was deliberating how she was gonna off the doctor for being wrong. Because when I was born a boy. Okay. And so I never knew the angst my mother had of that. I really did not know. And growing up, I was always alone. My mother was like, here, this is just the basic what you need, and that's it. Like, she didn't care. There was no love. There was no hugs. There was no kisses. There was no $5 for bowling with your friends. It was just, here, go away. And in that sense, I felt outcasted. I obviously would feel abandoned, right? Because, no hugs, no kisses from your mom, and always reprimanding you and making you seem like you're the issue. That was pretty rough. But then I never knew my dad, ever. Never met him. Whatever, talked to him a few times on the phone, but that was it. And that was most recently. So, talking to his sister and some of my aunts on his side, like, I got to see a bigger picture of how my mom and that side of the family was through another lens, another perspective. And so what I learned growing up is that, my mom and her sisters, they did dabble in some shit. They did dabble in, the Ouija board. Um, they drank, they smoked, they did drugs. I mean, it was the 70s. That's what they were doing. Hopscotching on everybody, having orgies and smoking it up, right? Yeah, that was like my lifestyle. Growing up, watching what's happening, right? My mom and stepfather were like friends with the Hells Angels. Like, what? What? Here you go into the compound. Good luck with that. You gotta know somebody that knows somebody to go into Hells Angels compound at like 6 years old with your mom. What? So yeah, there was a lot of crap. But talking to some of the other family members, I mean, they were messing with some things that they didn't understand. Playing with that Ouija board. You better quit that shit. Burn it fast. So I think from what I heard, from what I understood, is that when my mom found out that I was going to be a boy and not a girl, she, out of her own mouth, placed a curse on me. How do you like that? Your own mother cursing. Yeah. So growing up, never knowing that, feeling the detachment, the abandonment, feeling that missing puzzle piece that has mom written all over it, wasn't there. And like I said, I never knew my dad, so I didn't have that anchor, so it was just me. And then my friend, yeah, my spiritual friend. Right? I have a father, but I never knew my dad. We'll say it like that. Yes. We got the comments. What's going on, Brooksville, Florida? It's Sue Caddy in the house. I always want to say Candy. I don't know why. Susan Candy. That sounds good anyways. Either way, but welcome. Appreciate you. All right. So, how am I tying all these things in together? You, my friend, are programmed like a robot in your subconsciousness from the family traits and shit that they did to now have you act out unconsciously what you went through as a child. What you've seen as a child. Monkey see, monkey do. Remember? I learned that my whole family was whacked out. Wacky. I mean, play with the Hells Angels, dipping with the mafia, doing this, doing that. I mean, what? That's all devil demon shit. You know that. So growing up like that in the hood, I'm white as white, but I mean, I got a pretty good tan, so you could call me like Spanish or something, right? But dude, I only grew up with Mexicans and black people. No offense, I hate to say it even like that because, I don't even see people like that. I don't say, oh, that guy's tan skin, so he must be Mexican. That's stupid to me. Just like black people, like, oh, we're black. I'm African American. Well, that's great. My family's from Poland, but I don't run around and say I'm Polish American. Right? Stupid. Right? That makes no sense. Plus, majority of the colored people are not even black. They're brown. So are we confused? I think so. So just the surface level of trying to understand that is difficult for most people. So digging deep into this wound of generational curses and getting those roots, I can't even imagine sitting here for 16 years trying to figure this out with somebody. Right? No, Cody, woman. I know you're a woman, Susan. It's crazy. That's funny. All right. So when I learned all these things of putting things together, how my mom wanted a girl and she was all doing this and then hated me because she wanted a girl and I was cursed and blah, blah, blah. Then hearing the side from my family on my dad's side, and now having my own spiritual path, practice, business, whatever you want to say, the enlightenment to me came a little deeper because you got to crack that skull of yours to get into your subconscious. Okay? And that son of a biatch is locked like Get Smart. I don't know if you ever seen that show, Get Smart, with all the doors shutting and all this. That's your subconscious, right? You can't access the mainframe unless you know the password. It's like 36 characters, right? But cracking into your subconscious is like that is the only way that you can see where the cause is, where the root of things are. And with the layers of trauma and abuse and addiction and just issues after issues, and sometimes it's even their issues, they put it on you. So now you feel like it's your problem when it's not even. So now we're carrying all this baggage around like a freaking camel, right? Being like, why is my life so jacked up? Some people, they have that natural ability, like Capricorns, Virgos, they just want to jump right into that ass and they want to figure it out. Okay, because it doesn't fit their mainstream like projection of themselves if they're off, right? And so they will dig in and crack the code, right? Those are the code breakers. The other people, they just kind of keep going. And so, I got to say that I was one of those people that kept going, but was trying to put these pieces together, right, rationally. And like I said, all of a sudden, frying pan to the back of the head, boom. Now it's like 8K, and I see shit for exactly what it is. Because these two people I was talking about, one person was exactly acting just like my mother. To the T. And the other person was acting like my stepfather. So all these years, all the shit that was played out subconsciously, that was absorbed in my precious brain as a child, started now affecting me as an adult when it came to separating that subconscious from, because those are my parents' things that got loaded into my mainframe. Then when it came for me to have my own things to now have to try to deal with how to process that, well, there's called a trauma bond. We'll call it a tag, right? Hashtag, we're coming along for the ride. So your now adult emotional issue now is attached to your subconscious programmed generational event that happened from your parents that you absorbed learning, watching, hearing, seeing as a child. So now those two are holding hands and now they're working it out, but together. And it's just burying you deeper into that hole to not see where it's coming from. So this epiphany that I had was clearly allowing me to see exactly where, how, who, and what was the deal. Because I think at this point God said enough. You've done, played your Sherlock Holmes, you've done your homework, you've done, put in the time to really endure the sacrifice of the suffering, though it is not of your hand. You will sacrifice and suffer because I want you to see, without a doubt, of how this ain't yours. But it was put on you. So now, child, I hope that this can relieve all of the symptoms and the pains and the traumas that you had to deal with on your own from other people, like your fam. Putting it on you. Now you got a complex because your mom's not a huggy, lovey-dovey kind of person. So now that you think that your mom's abandoning you emotionally that way, so now when you become an adult, what? You already are unattached emotionally when it comes to love if you have that kind of parent. So now you're automatically guarded because you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to love because they're not showing you as a parent how to love. And so as you're an adult now, you're like, why do I got relationship problems? Why am I an asshole? This. And it's not even your deal. You weren't even given a fair shake because your parents loaded that program in your mainframe. And so now, like I said, like a robot, you just act it out. So, Susan, I don't know what you're saying because there might have been a naughty word in your sentencing, so YouTube restricted that. Sorry. Yeah. But I hope you guys get like the gist of what I'm trying to say. Things that are going on in your life, sure, we're doing it. So physically we can be blamed for it. But we're talking about the spiritual sense here because there's more of you spiritually than there is of this flesh suit that we got, right? So when you accept that there is another part of you, because I know when you're sitting on the toilet without your phone, you're talking to yourself. What am I doing tomorrow? What's going on? I wonder if Becky's doing this. Da, 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 da. Tell me you're not doing that. It's not a psychosis thing. So psychologists, have a seat. Because I'm in charge. I hate those bookworms. I mean, I love the knowledge and the idea of like, well, but you need the hands-on to understand really the mentality of shit, right? We can read about sociopaths all day long, but you're not going to know the signs and symptoms of sociopath unless you put yourself in that situation to see what a sociopath is really like. So I can dig your books and your clinical diagnoses, but this is for you to just sit on the sidelines because you need to absorb the spirituality, right? Because that's where it's all going, my friend. It's all going. Use what you learned from Sue, what she's saying, from problems in past to correct the future. So I deleted that myself. Oh, that's fantastic. Delete, block, delete. That's great. That is true. That is definitely a hardcore factual statement that Susan is providing us in the comments. But there's a roadblock with that, Sue. Big time roadblock. You know why? Because sometimes the problems of the past can't be corrected until you get through the experience. And it's only in divine timing how long you have to suffer and endure to be able to now jump that hurdle. Okay, it's not that easy. If I understood now that this subconscious smoking thing came from my parents, and I've already been smoking for 25 years, I don't think it's going to be that easy just to put it right in the past. But that is the right, like, mainframe idea, the start, and I love that idea. That's perfectly right. So, yes, kudos to us because we're on the same page. Whoop, whoop. Give it up to Sue. Yeah. So, people, you got to understand, you got to have a little patience with yourself. Okay? You got to allow yourself to fall and bust your face on the concrete, chip a tooth, but just know that the world isn't ending because you have like this weird V shape in your front teeth, which happened to me when I grew up, right? I borrowed a kid's bike. I was probably like 10. Went to jump off the curb and the front wheel wasn't even locked down. It just rolled by. So the forks, boom, and the concrete face, boom. Yeah, it was fun. So in life, we have to be patient with ourselves. We have to allow ourselves to have these mistakes because we're not perfect and we're not even good. God is perfect and God is good. And this is where it comes from to help us be like God in his image and likeness. Though image and likeness sound the same, there's a clear distinction of separate. Image is what he looks like. Likeness is what he acts like. So that statement alone has mucho weight to it. And just the thinking outside the box. Be like, okay, cool. Okay, so if we're made in God's image, let's just leave it there. Do I look like God? Does God look like a human? I mean, do you see where I'm going with that evolution in your mindset? Now, let's take it a step further in the likeness. Okay, so if God kind of looks like me or I look like God, that means he must be a human, but with superpowers because he can do all these miraculous things. So in his likeness, if I look like him, but do I act like him as well? Or do I have the abilities to? Can I? Listen, Bible thumpers, I am not even trying to cross the line of saying I'm above and beyond God. Not at all. Not even comparable. Because I'm not even worthy. But it's the idea of that critical thinking outside the box. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Because you don't know how great you are until you do something. You don't know that you're a Picasso until you get the shit to do it. And then you're like, man, that sucks. I'm not even close to being Picasso. See? Because you can't just call yourself Picasso unless you do it. Right? Painting your first painting. Just don't cut off your ear. Oh, wait, no, that's Van Gogh. But these curses that get plagued on us as generations, like I've seen it with other people like my age, with their kids. I'm sure my kids are dealing with some shit too. But this revelation got my feet tingling. It got my blood pumping because it was like, okay, so like it felt to me like a sun shower. We've all experienced a sun shower, I think. No clouds in the sky, maybe a little puff here, whatever. Then all of a sudden it starts misting rain. It's a light, gentle rain. You might see a rainbow, and it's just perfect. That's what this enlightenment to me was, to see in real life a trauma that I needed to address because it is one of the last ones, the hardest ones that I've been trying to work on to break. So, let's break it down. Ancestry.com. If I've tracked my family on my dad's side, 8 generations, and I've tracked my mother's side, 5 or 6 generations, that's a whole hell of a lot of people. I mean, I'm not even talking about the cousins. Forget it. I got over like 20,000 cousins. It's unreal. What freaked me out is that I realized that my dad was a doctor, so his last name is Williams. And if you all know me, that I'm cousins with Hank Williams Sr., who is the country top dog for country scene. When I was looking through some of the ancestry shit, I take a break. Then I just hit up TikTok, because that's what I do, right? I'm the only one watching my TikToks over here. What's up with you? As soon as I hit the app, came on, the first thing in the feed. I don't know why. I've been getting a lot of Illuminati in my shit. I don't know what's going on with that. Freemasons, Illuminati, they're all jumping on it, right? But with these inspirational, motivational messages, not like you're going to be off, nothing like that. But the first feed that came up was the leader of the Illuminati, Lord Williams. What are you trying to tell me here? Let me back that up some. If I realized that my cousin is Hank Williams Sr., because my dad was adopted, so that's his real family, that's his blood, which means that's my blood. Now, subconsciously pops up on my TikTok, Lord Williams. I mean, we're talking about synchronicities. Now, I'm not claiming any family, I'm not saying anything like that, but this is how the divine shows us things to pluck us out of the box that our parents put in for us, nice and neat, little bow on the top shit, to break out of it and see the difference for ourselves, because that is not you, it's been placed on. So this little profile that came up, okay, we're going to put that in the memory bank and just keep going because that's a clue. Now we're playing Blues Clues. Blues Clues, right? You know, those with recognition, like those people with the ego and, you know, the clout and the money and the paparazzis and all that stuff that goes with it. A lot of those people were just, you know, they walked into it. It wasn't like, you know, I'm just trying to say, like, people have like trust funds and you know, they're just taken care of, like the royals, right? They just, all the kids from all to whoever keeps having babies in that family will always be taken care of. The entitled trust fund people like that, their world has been given to them. And so when you have that kind of life being recognized in that way, that's like the opposite of what Jesus wants, what he says in his teachings. Like, that person will be humble. Why? Because that person will be that person to walk over that homeless person. That person will be that person not to hold the door open for the old lady who's trying to come out in a wheelchair with all her shit. And that's not the way we're going to be working this world. That's how it's been, but it's going to be changing, and it already has. So that now person who's recognized will be humbled. And that humbled person, who is that homeless person that's laying on the street, or that old lady didn't have any help, those people will be recognized. So it is kind of like the meek shall inherit the earth, if we're going to paraphrase and put those two together. Now, I know that you know people, or you've seen the people, or you've heard of people that have been, boom, way up on top, and like, look at me, I'm the shit, da, 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 da. And all of a sudden the world comes crashing out, boom, flat on their face. Like people who win the lottery, they spend it the first week and they're done. And then they sit there for the rest of their lives and be like, oh man, I should have invested money in, you know, that's being humbled. That person that eats ramen noodles and had to struggle because it wasn't their fault of their own. It was just the way they were taught as a kid, generational curse, how to not budget your money. That person now will be recognized because they're suffering, which is humbling, which is getting to the root of things to make you understand that things in your life have been put on you, not of your doing, but of your subconscious sponge. Then we're going to get into the TV and the radio and all the frequencies and how people understanding the frequencies and now then manipulating those frequencies to make you feel like a zombie because ba 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 ba, now I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? Get with that over here. So those things get put on us. Why? Because those things are, it's like a chess game. Those pieces have been put strategically in your life, whether good or bad, to see if you can win the game. And what's the game? The game of life. Whose life? Your life. Not the ones that was put on you by your parents because they wanted you to be a girl. It's because you have to see your life. You have to know who you are. This is why we talk about what is your purpose. There's a lot of work into getting your purpose. And first of all, you got to do the Three Stooges shuffle to clear out the way. Clear out the way of the generational curses, the shit that's been put on you subconsciously, subliminally, for you to now partake in that kind of lifestyle because that's what you've known. Not having that chance to live your own life, to do it for yourself. Because here you AI. Right? So then, in the sense of understanding, and see, we're always trying to better ourselves. And what are we trying to better ourselves for? To be a better person. To be the best version of yourself. And however way that is for you. But it's not ego driven, it's not money driven, it's not material driven. Because I'm in this world, but I am not of this world. Because you can't take it with you when you leave. So this is Sparta! Earth is Sparta, like Trojan horses all day long. And that is for you to be able to know, oh, these guys are so sweet. They built this giant horse for us as a present, as a truce, and oh my God, this is great. Then the whole village gets slaughtered. So the next go around, the same thing. Oh, what a cute horse they built for us. Slaughtered all the time. Until you say, I don't want to be slaughtered no more. Or that frying pan comes to the back of your head and you get that enlightening moment. Now you're going to see, whoa, something's wrong with this horse. You know what I'm saying? It's too tall. Why'd they make it for us? Getting outside the box. Rinsing that subconscious. Wringing it out. Because what's been put in there is not yours. So then when you wring it out, now you can say, I don't even like horses. Get that thing out of here. Averting the whole slaughter. This is where we're trying to go. This is what I'm trying to have you understand. And I'm living it. I've lived it. Dude, you have no idea. It might look all nice and cushy here on YouTube and shit, dude. But if you stepped in my shoes and hung out with me for, a couple of weeks, you might not like it. Because there's a lot of things I got to deal with. Not saying that I need pity. I got this all myself with the help of my father. But still, these are my lessons, my quizzes, my practices to get to my better self. But I mean, I'm already at my better self, but just these projections of subconscious events that are roadblocks in our spiritual evolution, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Because if I can, I see right now in my head, like, the movie Ghost, when he was like the ghost in that white blur, right? And then I heard Jesus walking on water. So I kind of put those two together in my mind. It was like my version of me at my highest self is floating around the house like fucking Patrick Swayze Ghost, dude. Right? Like pure energy. Pure energy, the highest form, right? Trying to get to the highest likeness of God. Because that's what we are programmed as. Not these shemps that got to deal with all these addictions and depressions and shit. Because it's the societal crunch of knowing that you are coming out the box. I don't know if you know Adam Sandler. He used to do with all these comedy skits, right? And he has this one, it's called Toe Booth Willie. You gotta check that out. Adam Sandler, Toe Booth Willie. Google that now. Hilarious. He's a toll booth guy. You go through the toll, people throw the change, they think the guy's collecting the money, it's just a shemp. So every day in the skit, they drive by and they're like, blah, blah, blah. And it was ranking on him. And Toe Booth Willie happened to be like a priest, right? So they're just dogging him every time, right? It's hilarious, but not. So then one day, all of a sudden, he wasn't taking it no more. All of a sudden, the last comment, the last diss, right? He said, I'm coming out the booth, right? So check it out. It's kind of funny. So that, to me, that parody of the symbolism of him being in the box, being trapped by the external world, pushing him in and keeping him in that box by throwing the change at him, insulting him, making him feel less than, when he wasn't. And when he finally realized that epiphany moment that he was better than being in that box, he came out. I mean, at the very end, it's like he got hit by the car. It's on a toll, right? I can't with that, but still, it's the parody of it, right? It's the read between the lines. Yeah. So generational curse is like, it's just not with you, it's with everybody. I mean, I gotta say this, man. All right. I've been deep in hot water with YouTube already. I'm trying to be a good boy and follow the guidelines and the rules. Okay, I get it. I'm waiting for my brand to hit. Right, come on, help me out with some advertisers on that. But like I maybe that's why my mother said, when you grow up, son, here's what you're gonna be. You're either gonna be a lawyer, which would be a prosecutor, not a defense attorney, because I can't back criminals. And have a good conscience about it. Or you'd be a congressman, senator, because your mouth. My mother said your mouth. Because why I'm always spitting what's real. People don't like the real. I mean, you look in the mirror. Do you see your mask or do you see your face? I don't know. Is that why women wear makeup? I don't know. I'm just bitching. This year, in November, when we're going to be voting, the ads, the campaigns, all these things that have been slapped in your face, I just want you to remember one thing. One thing. I'm all for female president. Black, Chinese, Asian, it don't matter of what your skin looks like or you got boobs or not. It's what you are capable of for us. Remember that the one female that is running now, all of a sudden came out the box and now she's chipper chapper and she can talk like all this. Did you fall out of a coconut tree? Well, the first 3 years of you sitting in your position as the border czar, you were not heard of at all. You had no say. You did not show up to show out your position on the border. For 3 years, she was in that attic. Now she comes out the box when Billy Joe's getting retired. Friends, don't be fooled by the smile or the rhyme or whatever. Remember the acts, the incidences, the events that did not come to fruition. Because it was her job to run the border and it ran itself into the country. Now we have Venezuelan gangs taking over apartments in Colorado. Thank you very much. So you did it on purpose. Now everybody wants to vote for her because she's the first black female president. And forget that shit. Unreasonable. No way I'm not going through that kind of hell. Because I will up and move out this bitch and watch this place sink. Because if we get a person like her in there, it's going to sink. Because remember, we all fell out of a coconut tree. That's all I got to say about that part. Had to be stern, man, because people forget what happened last week. Here you, attention span of a gnat. Pick it up. Step out that box. You need to get a little more clue to understand what they're trying to have you forget, which was she was MIA. She was AWOL when we needed her the most. Get with it. So, look at Sue getting all into it. I love it. Sparta! Yeah, spoiled brats. That's for sure, Sue. You got that right. Spoiled entitled brats. And, you know, sometimes things are not in our control, obviously. We get put in situations, we meet people, we do things we don't want to, but it's because it's cool. Now we're talking about peer pressure to fit in, whatever your emotional complex is. But you're definitely going to feel the burden of some other person's shit that's not yours through that experience. And this is what we call sacrifice. Because God works his best when you are at your weakest. That's right. So you got to be broken down to the bare bones. Like, I mean, talk about a rabid hyena shredding you to pieces from the ass first, getting right down your bone marrow. Yeah, that's how ripped down you got to get at the core of who you really are, not what you got programmed to be. Running on autopilot. Your subconscious makes all your shit work for you. Do you have to think you have to breathe? No, you don't go breathe. Exhale. Inhale. You don't do that. It just happens, right? So that is your spirit working for you. Hello? Are you getting it yet? Autopilot. Your spirit has a brain too. Now we're talking about like that good and bad devil on your shoulder shit, right? Yeah, see, now you go understand the box I'm having you step out of. Years ago, I can say that because I've been on this biatch for a while. Years ago, I did make a video about coming out the box. And it's on the same principles of understanding who you are, how you are, what you're going to be, but you don't know that until you strip naked. Get in your birthday suit already, huh? You got to see your nooks and crannies and your crevices to understand who you are because, you know, the only way is to do that. And when you strip down that raw, that low, that bare, what else is there? Nothing but the glory. Now you see you for who you are. It's like, you know, you got that one friend that's just kind of tolerable. And you're like, well, everybody else is busy tonight, so I guess I'll go hang out with Sloppy Joe. And now you're over Sloppy Joe's house. And you do what Sloppy Joe does, but you don't do what Sloppy Joe does at your house. Okay? Just at Sloppy Joe's house. Because that's Sloppy Joe. So now everybody's thinking that you're Sloppy Joe number 2. But people don't understand the spirit of things. So now God's going to put you in a position to meet Sloppy Joe, to do what Sloppy Joe does. Because why? Maybe some of those conversations you're going to speak a couple things to Sloppy Joe to make him maybe see things differently. Put a little question mark in his life or her life. To help somebody in some kind of way. Pull in those little plugs, whatever. But it's also to help you experience maybe some of the generational trauma that maybe some of your parents did because they were Sloppy Joes. My parents were Sloppy Joes. You have no idea. And if I told you the stories, you'd probably be sitting there with your jaw on the floor. Because it's atrocious, even me, knowing that those were my parents. But that's what they showed me. That's what they said life was about. That's what gets sucked into your subconscious, and that's why you walk around like Vicky the Robot doing shit that your parents did. And the TV and all these other things are reinforcements to lock you down in that box. So you don't even know the fucking sun is shining because you're locked in the dark. So when you rely on your intuition and you turn to your spirit self, your higher vibing self, that little voice that says, don't go to the party because it's going to suck. And you say, I'm going to go anyways because I'm going to be the best there. You go there and it sucks. And you tell yourself, wow, I should have listened to myself and not gone to that party. That's what I mean. Get in there. Get on that level. Listen to that shit. Do what that says. Go with that. Because for me, in my experience, and what the bullshit most people would die from, that's textbook 101. Dropping little jamming nuggets on y'all. These little gangsters running around in colleges talking about free Palestine. Are you ignorant? First of all, that is my question. Your parents didn't raise you right. I understand what you're talking about the civilian casualties being injured in the Gaza Strip. And it's at the hand of Israel. Why? Because they're defending themselves. But ye need not forget The Palestinians are the ones that kidnap little kids from the Israels to start this whole mess. So when we get things twisted and forget the root of the people in the Palestine, the Hamas and all them, those are the evil terrorists that like to off little kids and keep people hostages. Like, unreal. But you're going to go run around your little hippie entitled mouth because your parents didn't slap your ass and teach you right to say, listen, kid, you're forgetting who the culprit is here. I understand your compassion, but you're not being taught right. So you're just going with the, let's keep you in the box because you don't know the sunshine out there or even in your pocket with the news and the media and all this shit. And you're going to get programmed to stay, well, free Palestine. And I get offended because when I hear that, all I hear is you're supporting the devil. Because in my mind, those people are Palestinians that murdered Israel people. And you're going to support that? You're ignorant and your subconscious is too full. You're ringing out a little bit. Yeah, 3 sides of the story, not just 2. Yes, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Those are your 3 sides. But to any story, the truth or the story does come out from the horse's mouth. So if you're talking to an ass, you're not going to get the right story. You're going to get a shitty story. Thank you. I worked on that one all week. You guys are fun. Sue, you're lighting it up tonight. Appreciate it. You're amazing. Yeah. All right. So, what'd you think about all that so far? Good. I hope that I can be like that Mr. Clean guy to wring your subconscious out, because it's true. Pre-programmed. It really gets that way. Ah, thank you. Appreciate that. And then, we got these whoopity-doos that are like, the doctors and the nerds and all that. I mean, okay, check this out, right? Everybody's so worried about obesity and nutrition and all this good stuff, right? But when a company decides, let me make some scrambled eggs, shove it in a little box, put it in the freezer, then sell it to you. But, I mixed it with some stupid ass ingredients. I spilled some common in there by accident, whatever. Wow. See, words are very, very influential, man, because when I say comment, boom, a trigger. Talking about generational curses here. So boom, that was a trigger for me. Let me ask you something. Man. Do you know what evil is? Do you know what evil looks like? Let me tell you what evil looks like. Evil looks like your stepfather that legit would put comet, the shit to scrub your toilet with, on a plain donut and give it to your brother to eat. Can you fucking watch that? How about because your brother likes to eat, he was a big boy, your stepfather legit locking your brother down every single night in a straitjacket. A straitjacket. 7 years old, I have to watch this. I undid my brother's straitjacket every night, but I got my ass whooped for it. That's evil, my friends. Watching your stepfather trying to your brother because he likes to eat and you're not feeding him enough for his appetite, and you're going to lock him in a straitjacket. And because I was taking him out of that straitjacket, doing the right thing for my brother, I get the hammer. That's evil. Yeah, it comes in a lot of different forms too. So as a kid, I was already working on trying to break these curses. But bearing the cross of other people's sacrifices and me taking the punishment for them, for what's right. And God knows I'm the load bearing support beam, so I can carry the weight of the house. And it got worse and worse and stronger and stronger. And then I became stronger and better, stronger and better. So ye who judge, please throw the first stone if you're without sin. This is all basic training here. Earth is basic training. It doesn't hurt anymore, Sue. It doesn't hurt anymore. Because I got an understanding of it. When I was clueless, didn't know, running on autopilot, yeah, that's when it hurt. That's when you feel the depression, the anxiety, you name it. But like I said, this is the last. This is my final exam. Because once this shit drops off of my shoulders, I've been studying all year. Well, for a few years, actually. But it was to take people out their box. I'm going to show you what's been going on by example of sacrifice of me enduring what the fuck has been going on, even though it ain't for me and it ain't about me. I just got picked for that assignment. That is what your life is. So don't question why, question how come, and what do I got to do to fix it? What do I got to do to make it better? Always try to go 1 foot in front of the other. Don't be sitting there doing the cha-cha. Because you're going to get lost. You're going to get sidetracked. Remember, I told you people have 3 to 5 second attention spans. And you will not know if they said take a left or take a right. You know what I'm saying? So you got to use your discernment. Is this me feeling it? Or is it somebody... Okay. You go to a store. You walk in the store and you got your best duds on, right? You're looking like a slick chick. You know, whatever. You know, preppy dude. And as soon as you walk in the store, people are staring right at you. Of course, because you're all dressed to the nines. Some people are like raggedy and they're going to sit there and give you that glare and that evil eye feeling, right? You know you feel it because you're going to be like, ooh, I just all of a sudden feel uncomfortable in here. I think I'm going to go. This is the vibration. This is the spirituality part. These are the parts of the curses that you don't understand that are happening in your life. And if you just sat with knowledgeable people like myself that only speak of experiences and not just some bullshit through words and text in a book, please save this video. Refer back to it so you can have a mantra or some motivation to understand that. Please have patience with yourself, because sometimes that what you do is not of your doing. It has been put in you to be that doer on the auto program pilot. And it sucks, boy. Some people get there and they're like, oh, this sucks. I hate it. Oh, they run away and they just cave. And they cave. But see, I was never a caver. You know how many times I wanted to quit this bullshit YouTube because of their policy changes, because of all their bureaucracy and them playing favorites? Oh yeah, I got all the proof. I love screenshots. I do. And they even shut me down when I told them I was being harassed. They didn't want to hear none of that shit. You know why? Because I bagged them and said, you know how to do this. So if you could do this, but you're making me do this, when you already know this, then you know who the harassers are. And shame on you if I am to call you my boss, because technically I'm your employee. Hmm. That's how you got to do it. I mean, this is all the healing process, Sue. You're exactly right. Is little by little, step by step. That's why I said take one foot in front of the other and just keep going. I mean, it's like walking through a hurricane sometimes. 100 mile an hour. I've been through 2 hurricanes and 2 earthquakes. It's not, and a tornado. It's not cool, man. Because I don't even live. I mean, I live kind of close to Kansas, but I ain't going there. Yeah. When I first started my channel, I lived in another house. I had bought a house over there in this place called Horseshoe Bay, Texas. And that's when my Frenchie, my little Phoebe, my little funky Phoebe, I miss her. Yeah, we had a tornado just started right up over the house. And to know that it's a tornado without knowing, look outside. And if the sky's like a greenish hue, you better go find that toilet and hold on. So yeah, it was me, Maisie, and Phoebe all huddled in my toilet. Well, not in the toilet, but in the bathroom, as a tornado just up and started over the house. It's crazy. And when I used to live in California as a young pup, because I did live in California, right? Like 20 minutes from the LBC, bitch. What's up with that? My whole neighborhood was fucking vatos. You have no idea what I've been through in my life. But yeah, it was I think it was a 6.2 earthquake. We lived on the 3rd floor. Not fun. Yeah, and then Hurricane Gloria, and then Hurricane Bob. Hurricane Bob. Okay, this is when I was living in Massachusetts on the Hook. You know, it's called the Hook. It's called Cape Cod, and Hurricane Bob came through. Right, so there's boats in the marina. You know, in the marina where the dock is at the beach. Well, after Bob, like the boats that were in the marina were out of the marina, across the street, up the hill, and in somebody's house. It's crazy, dude. It was so much destruction. And yeah, I mean, just have your faith, my friends. Don't be afraid of anything. I don't care if it's a natural disaster. It's a Sasquatch kicking in your door. If God wants to pull your card and it's time to go, He will. Otherwise, He's going to give you the strength to endure. And that's what we don't understand. That's the likeness part. That is the likeness. Not the image, but the likeness. Because if you can overcome addictions, problems, issues, emotional abuse, narcissistic abuse, you name it. If you can overcome that, well, then you're following the guidelines of what's been set for you in your test to pass. So then you kept your faith knowing that you're going to pass the test because you kept going with it. That is what the anchor of your faith is knowing before you even get through it that you've gotten through it. I don't care if you've been addicted to smack for 17 years. Maybe God wanted you to be there for 17 years because maybe that's how much generational trauma that you had to endure. And so at that 16 years, 364 days, that last day is boom, the lightning strikes, the clouds clear, and now you see the clear text of the root of the problem, which was never yours in the first place. Remember Sloppy Joe? Sloppy Joe's shit's not your shit. That's what I'm saying. So you better get it right. Good girl, Sue. I like that. Oh, I know, my little Phoebes. I miss her too. I mean, she's right here though. Yeah, she's like, she's right there in a little box. So she's never really that far. She never was really that far anyways. But yeah, I've been really debating on getting another Frenchie. Like I open Facebook and the first feed that comes out, this lady opens the door. And all these French, I mean, it looked like a herd of sheep running into her house, but it was all little Frenchies, all different colors, like fat, tan ones, you know, the goofy eye Boston Terrier looking ones, the ones with really big ears. It was like just mobs of Frenchies. And I was like, I love them all. So, you know, I had couple old neighbors in my old neighborhood were like, "Are you going to get another dog after the Frenchie?" And I was like, "I don't know. Oh no, I don't move on that quick." Right? But lately, since I've been getting these nudges, these synchronicities, I've seen Frenchie's here and like Super Frenchie, and there was like this cool ass like AI generated like scene of Frenchies as a band doing Metallica. I was like, that fucking rocks, dude. And Frenchies last year became like the national #1 dog, I guess, something like that. Yeah, they beat out Golden Retriever, and so that was pretty impressive. So all those little things have been piling up for me to be like, okay, I think I gotta get another Frenchie. I kind of miss the snoring. I mean, this one snores, but when she stops snoring, I get worried because she actually, I think she has sleep apnea. So I gotta shake her a little bit. That's crazy. Yeah. Ugh. Anyways, my friends, I hope I touched the nerve on something with you. You know, I really do. I mean, I'm never gonna stop being who I am. And I don't care what thinks they think who I am. Because if you're not in my life to see every moment of it, then you have no idea who I really am. You're only seeing bits and pieces. And if you're trying to put a puzzle together of just bits and pieces, well, I got the other pieces over here. So it looks like you're not going to get the complete picture of who I am unless you have these other pieces. So if you want to know what's going on, who I am, or who, not just me, but anybody, get up in their life. Don't just sit there on the sidelines and be that peanut gallery, okay? Because that dime can flip over real quick. And remember, some people walk on this planet like a giant mirror. So if you're going to be trying to dig on somebody of their reflection, well, wait till they turn the mirror to your reflection. How well you think you're going to be looking at yourself when all your shit in your closet comes out? And then what is your pussy ass excuse to say, what are you doing about trying to fix it? Show your face. Sign up for my courses. If you want life coaching, do it. You want those spiritual enhancement like we're talking about now, do it. Oh yeah, you can't do it yet. You know why? It's so funny, but it's not. Google shut down my website because they said that I wasn't following the guidelines. So the guidelines where I needed to update my profile. So when I went into my Google Workspace to update my profile, well, damn it, everything's the same. I don't need to change nothing. So why are you holding back my website from my people? So the .com, the book, and get a personal, fucking Google shut it down on purpose. Why? Because they say Joe Biden falls off in his damn bike. He's delusional. Kamala Harris, she's... Yeah, we'll just leave it there. So I don't fit their narrative because my mouth, like my mother said, gets me in trouble. But in trouble for the good reasons. Why? Because now you're going to hear the truth. And I'll always tell you that, my friends. But sometimes I'm not just going to be so free-willy with it. You got to ask. So if you know, ask. You don't know, then they. That's what it is. Don't make an ass out of you because it ain't me. So never assume anything. Okay? Always ask from the horse, from the source. Get your facts right. Like, I can't post a video on somebody's the shit. If it's copyrighted, well, then I got to give him credit. Or, no, somehow the shit ain't mine. It's the proper dues, right? That's what we got to do. Same thing. You want to figure out somebody, you better stop doing the side skirt shit, doing these fake profiles, going around people talking here, talking to the ass, instead of talking to the mouth. Because all you're going to get is a whole mouthful of shit. And I don't taste so good. We could have avoided all that. You could have been eating mints if you just talked to the source and found out directly. Oh, but that's too much because people don't want that direct truth. You're afraid you're going to get shot down with the truth and realize that you were an asshole and you prejudged somebody a little bit too prematurely based off the horse's ass that you were talking to? I'm sure. So kick yourself in the nuggets for that one. Go to the blacksmith. He'll help you take it out. I'm done. Peace and pray, my friends. Be blessed, be brave, be well every day of your life because God is with you, my friend. Don't forget it. Peace and pray every day. I said that, right? Yeah. Okay. Be the light. You are the light. Good night. I'll see you again, my friends.